Hey, you guys. Welcome to our silver interview series. We have the leaders on our team who have accomplished the rank of silver in the doTERRA business, which is the first recognized leadership rank in doTERRA. And we have a lot of silvers on our team, which has been amazing for me as a upline, as a mentor, as another wellness advocate to see our team flourish and grow, especially quickly. This team started 4 years ago. We just reached our 4-year mark. And it's amazing for me to see what has grown from personally just my start of wanting to build a business and then bring people along with me. And all of you have brought on people to this journey through the vision of what the doTERRA lifestyle can give you, and the business, the residual income, this dream of doTERRA, the company, the mission, all of the above, right? And so we have, oh my gosh, how many silvers do we have? We have a bunch. So a few are going to be interviewing this month, and then we'll have hopefully more say yes to do January, and maybe we'll see some more silvers rise within our team within the next few months. So our first speaker is going to be Naomi. So she is doing her silver interview. What I asked of her is to kind of take her mind back to silver. A lot of you have not reached the rank of silver yet. Some of you haven't solidified the rank of silver. And so this is for you guys to kind of see what silver is about and hear each of their stories. We want to see all of you rise to the rank of silver and accomplish that. So yeah, hi guys. Naomi, do you want to kind of give us a little update on how you are currently and what's been going on in your life?
Hi. I know I've been really busy lately. I am raising 3 kids on my own right now in Maui, and I spent like 14 years in Oahu before moving back home in COVID. And so this will be a difficult year, and all the work that I did in doTERRA earlier really helped me this year. It was really crucial, actually. You know, those moments that you really just need extra funds and that little extra that doTERRA keeps depositing in, right? If you've set up direct deposit, those little $20, $40, $15, even those $6 sometimes, right? Those little tiny things that you don't really realize help so much. I think this year we all saw how much those little increments that doTERRA is still putting into your bank account really make all the difference, right? So I think that this year really kind of was it really showed me that all the hard work that I had done earlier really paid off. And I am not where I want to be, but it was so crucial to see that everything I'd done was for a purpose, and that there was a reason that I felt the need to push myself at that time, because sometimes there does come a day where you don't have the energy to push, or you just have those hard periods of time where you do need that backup, and you do need that security, and you do need that whole team that we've built all these years. You need that team of people that you can trust, that if you just throw it out there and say, I really need help, they're going to help you. And, you know, everyone helps in different ways. And some people need it financially, and other people really need it emotionally. And I think that's what this business has done. Mentally, there's a lot of blocks that people don't realize they have until they really have to talk about themselves, talk about a product that they really believe in and a lifestyle that they really believe in, and put themselves out on the line. And especially in this kind of business, it's wellness. You know, it's not jewelry, it's not something fancy, it's not an event, it's not selling bikinis that obviously are going to sell really well. It's, you know, you're selling a lifestyle, which means that you are having to put your own personal life out on the line, and you're having to let people into, your very vulnerable areas of, weaknesses you have, whether it's, you have stress, you have anxiety, you have a chronic immunity disorder, or you have some sort of hair growth problem, or you have bad BO, or whatever it is that you're dealing with, right? Or, you just can't get rid of cramps during your menstrual time and nothing else works. Like, all of that is so personal to everyone. So this is where this business challenges you to really get comfortable with who you are and be careful with who you open up to, right? I think that's what this year has shown everyone, is that, anyone can sell, but not everyone can really be genuine and really be authentic and honest all the time. And the ones that are really honest and genuine and comfortable with themselves and able to really be transparent are the ones who are able to kind of keep their connections throughout the year and keep somewhat of a business going, or just relationships going, right? So that is where I think COVID year has brought us to.
Okay. First of all, you look amazing. Like, you seem so grounded. We just talked on the phone last week after you've gone through everything that you've gone through, and this came at such a good time. You seem like in such a good place. So we're really happy to see your face and happy to have you. So let's kind of take you back to when you started doTERRA as a customer, and then even just as the business. What made you start this business? And then what made you want to go for the rank of silver?
Okay, so what made me start the business was Ashley. But we'll go before that. What made me start using doTERRA was because I was pregnant with my third child in a row. And it was so exhausting on my body. And I had 3 kids in 4 years. And this was my third birth in the 4 years. And so I was so worn in. And yeah, here we're getting personal, but yes, my vagina was so sore, and my groin area was like swollen like no other. Like, I was so swollen and just, oh my God. Yeah, you're totally recording me. You can sell the shit out of that. That is totally fine, because the only thing that worked was doTERRA lavender. I was like buying a bottle of lavender. I think like 4 bottles a week. I was using 1 a week, and just straight on my hand and in there, because that was the only thing that like calmed it down. Made it so that I could like walk around and not feel in pain, I swear to God. And I had never experienced that in my other pregnancies, right? Yeah. Well, the first one isn't so bad. Don't be afraid about getting pregnant the first time, okay? But then the second time, it kind of gets worse. And then when you've had couldn't take medicine. Am I back? Oh gosh. Yes, I couldn't take medicine, right? I couldn't take painkillers. I couldn't take more than like 1 Advil or Tylenol, right? That was your max. So you have to find other ways to survive that kind of thing and be safe and not harm your child. And then be able to take something that's versatile. So that's half the problem, right? Is the doctors were like, there's nothing we can really do. And you can't drink it away. You can't go exercise and run it off. You can't get a massage and be like, hey, can you, massage there? I'm really sore. Like, that is all the issues that happen once I had kids. Okay. So lavender was like my only alternative. And I was really hesitant to even trust Ashley, because she had reached out to me on Instagram saying, hey, now that I'm a mom, I'm reaching out to other moms, and I think that you'd be really interested in some of these natural products. And I told her at first, I was like, well, I'm more of like a tea and a massage and an acupuncture person. I don't really know how essential oils work. And then she was like, okay, well, do you mind if I send you some things? And she sent me, okay, this is her original, like, this is her beginning business spiel. I got the whole packet. Like I got every book. I got every book. I got every like sign up sheet. I had like the whole catalog. I mean, she sent me the catalog. She sent me the living. She sent me the building. She sent me the sheets from Share Oils. She sent me the like the samples with the labels already on it, and it totally did work. It did work. But I mean, I had like a gourmet sample package, let me tell you. So because this is when Ashley was first starting out, right? And so I had actually known her from bikinis for a while from San Lorenzo, so I knew her as this like hottie, like little beach body babe that sold bikinis in San Lorenzo and told you looked amazing. And then I'd see her like posting selfies in San Lorenzo shop all over their Instagram. And I also knew she worked at a club that we used to go to all the time, but I didn't know her from the clubs. But I mean, I knew, you know, I kind of knew similar people. So I was like, wow, this is like, you know, a hottie party club girl, bikini girl, turns mommy and suddenly is done with that scene. So something obviously is really good about this business because she dropped both of those to have doTERRA. So I was really kind of impressed by that. I was like, what is so good about this business that is it really making her that much money to be able to replace the cash? I mean, you're making a lot of cash at the clubs. And she was, you know, marketing all over the place with San Lorenzo, and she was known as the San Lorenzo girl. So I was like, okay, she must be at least making enough to get by, or at least to pay like basic bills, which when you have kids, that's really all you're looking for when you're mom, right? You're just looking for how you can just make it easier to survive mommy life. And you want to do it with something that you can trust. And so I thought, okay, we have similar kind of, you know, paths. I'd modeled for a long time. I did a lot of, you know, in that scene too. I worked in clubs too. So I was aware of her kind of lifestyle. And I was thinking, okay, she has similar lifestyle. Now she's a mommy. Maybe I'll give her a shot. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. She's super cute. I like her kid. She's married too. She's not like, you know, some crazy girl. She has some responsibilities. And so I took a shot and I tried it. And I was so amazed at how well the products worked just with the samples. And then I was really impressed with her massive sample pack, of course. I was like, wow, this girl like really is investing. I was a little overwhelmed. You know, that is overwhelming when you're the customer and you're trying to learn it all. And yeah, I know I'm reading all your stuff. Yes, she's so cute. Yeah, totally. That's what I thought too. And what was interesting was because the product worked really well, because she took so much time to give to me all of that information, and because I respected her as a mom and I saw her changing her lifestyle to be something that I admired, that's what caught my attention versus other people, because people send me stuff all the time. I've been approached by like every company possible and I always turn them down. My aunt did Young Living. I was never interested whatsoever. I, of course, like natural. I had tried Maluka for a while. I, of course, knew a little bit about essential oils, but I didn't know enough to really take it seriously. So in my desperation with all this working, and I was like, oh my gosh, it works. So I bought the kit. I kind of asked her, you know, what do you think else should I get with this? And she recommended Deep Blue. Of course, Deep Blue wins everyone over, right? So between that and some coconut oil, and I think I got that first, the 10 family pack kit, because at first I thought, wow, 150 is really expensive. And then as we all know, that's a lot of your priority belief shifting, right? So already that 150, right, that got gone so fast, especially with the amount of lavender I was using. Yeah. So once I got the product and I tried it for a while, I think what was so good is it actually didn't bother me. She let me just kind of like enjoy it for a while. And that's really the difference. So she waited till I came to her and was like, this is really good stuff. I want to order more. And at first I had declined the whole building thing, but I said, you know what, I'll sign up for the deal. It was one of those $200 or 200 PV enrollments, right, that they do every year. So I had said, okay, why not? I'll enroll and order this and get this. Yes, the frankincense, the whole deal. And then she didn't bother me for a while. And I came back to her like, I need more lavender. I need more Melaleuca. I love the Deep Blue. And how do you use oregano? Because I didn't listen to any of her instructions. It was way too much books, way too much information. And I literally put a drop of oregano like straight on my husband, and he was dying and was like, what the fuck did you just put on me? This shit is witchcraft. You're trying to kill me. What is this? Like, you're screaming. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should read all those books and go to these classes that she's sending me. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I did do a class because I nearly killed him. And then when I went to her little class, which was online at the time and it was virtual, she did a Zoom class, which I'd never even heard of Zoom. So then I was like, not only is she giving me amazing product, but now she has this like high technology that I haven't even used yet. What's going on? This company is on it, right? And this is like years ago. So then I'm in her little class and I'm watching her class, and I thought it would be boring because I'm so not used to people being interesting, right? I get bored so easily. Yes, hence my dating life prior to marriage was like extensive. I got bored. Okay, so Ashley was very rare that she kept my attention because she's so cute and she's so professional, right? And then she always dressed up in little jewelry and like had her hair done. So I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty, right? Okay, so then as she's doing her spiel, she was actually really intelligent. And what she was telling me was science that was very legitimately backed. And it made sense on why to use it versus a lot of these other type of stories I'd seen about natural use. I mean, I'm from Maui, so I'm used to everything hippie you think you've seen in Oahu. No, you have not. I grew up with Mana foods. I grew up with people not wearing shoes and like never wearing clothes and not wearing underwear, and like people don't have floor in their house. I was from Haiku, where you would just have a dirt shack sometimes, right? And so I was used to like, that is all natural. So when someone tells me they want to sell me something all natural, I'm thinking like dreads that haven't been washed for days. There's no flooring. No one uses soap. They're using like leftover fat tissue to wash their stuff, like one of those kind. Okay. So I was very skeptical of all natural things. But then you have something that is really modern, that is backed up with science. It obviously already worked. Yes. And I really liked the lifestyle of the girls that I was seeing. So I was, for all the newbies, right? Am I with you? This is what I was feeling. I was so skeptical, and I was really irritated with the like hippie trend going on, telling me that I was, evil for eating meat, and telling me that if I don't buy organic, I'll die. So I was totally expecting it to be something more along those lines. And what I did was, once I liked her deal and I was like, okay, this is actually maybe not a cult, right? Because I was like, oh, these multi-level things are all cults and they have some weird religion linked to it, which I still think, doTERRA does have its own religion, but it's not as psycho as the many others that I've seen. And I looked at the group of girls that were following Ashley's oil page. Oh, someone's waving. Hi, Heather. And so I looked at the group of girls that she had in her feed, and her feed had some really good women. I kind of stalked them because I was like, if I'm going to get into this business, right, if I'm going to like follow the train and I'm going to put my name on the line and I'm going to start like, saying that I'm a part of this crew, I better like the crew. So I went and stalked Miley, Noelle. Who else did I stalk? I think it was Joe, right? It was like everyone related to Miley and Isla Love. And yep, you did the same, right? Because you got to be suspicious. You can't just, connect to anybody. And then I followed Ashley's like girlfriends for a while too. I think she had a whole bunch of girls that at the time were doing it that no longer are, but they were at the time, like in the beginning. So I went and looked at all her friends. I like checked out her husband to make sure he was, like a good guy and not some mean, guy, and that nobody I knew dated. I had to make sure there was none of those ties. Like, did all that research. And then I said, okay, they're cool. I like them. I like their style. I like their values. A lot of them are really like beautiful local families, and all of them are very health oriented, but they're realistic. They still, have the normal type of life that I'm looking for that's balanced. And all of them had kids. And even if they didn't have kids, they were very, open-minded and loving people. And they seemed really fun. So I said, okay, I'm like, I said, well, she kept asking me if I wanted to build. it was more like a push. Like she even offered to come to my house and train me. And she showed up, and I was like, I think a month before my birth, she showed up at my house, and she had Liv. And then it was really cute. She showed me how to use everything, and she taught me how to use everything. And then we started going off about Honest diapers and right. And then I said, okay, if somebody does want to buy from me, what do I do? And she said, okay, you have to switch your account. And it was this long process. And I got so overwhelmed, like, oh God, here we go again. I have to like change this button thing, and I have to commit to this. And I'm about to give birth. I don't even know if I'm going to have energy, right, or money to do it. But naturally, my friends started asking me what I was doing with my kids, because here I was, a really young mom. I had my first kid at 24. And I'm third one, right when I turned 20, like right around that time. So I had so many friends that didn't have kids when I started. And so a lot of my friends started having kids, and they all started asking me, how do I do this? You know, what do you do for colds and coughs? And how do you deal with the pain on your body? Or how do you deal with the headache when they're a baby and you can't give them anything? So I started telling them, well, I've been using these oils lately. I just started using this a couple months ago. And then I had a blog already at the time. And I had a lot of following from modeling, but I had a lot of mommies that followed me on my blog. So I had a lot of moms asking questions directly, you know, DMing me, emailing me, or just friends. And so I started just, yeah, you want to try some? And then the day I'm giving birth, my girlfriend goes, Ashley had said, oh, I'm just going to set up your link. I'm going to set up your link because it's too hard for you. I understand it's crazy. Don't worry. I'll set it up for you. Like, I'll show you how. So she gave me the instructions, like step by step, do this, do this, do this, back when it was that old version. And so I did have it turned on already, but I didn't use it. I hadn't sold to anyone. And I'm giving birth, and somebody's like, hi, I'm buying on your link, like as I'm in labor. So I think that was pretty interesting, because naturally, this is where your mindset and your comfortability with yourself, right, kind of comes into play. When you just say who you are and what you're doing, and you just are confident in it, other people will be confident too. And if they have similar lifestyles and similar values, they're going to trust what you're doing. And you won't have to try. It didn't have to be so hard. I really wasn't trying to sell to anybody, but it all started happening as I'm like in labor. And then in those first 8 weeks when you're recovering in bed and you're not supposed to go anywhere, and you're stuck breastfeeding and you can't move because you have like bloody underwear that you're changing nonstop, right? Those days are the days that I enrolled. It was like 10 enrollments in 8 weeks. And it was all just friends that were like, oh my gosh, hi, I just saw you had a baby. What are you doing for recovery right now? I'm pregnant too. And I'm like, well, I'm spraying lavender on a wet cloth pad, and I'm like sticking it right all around there. Right? And I'm like, and I'm rubbing lavender all over my boobs after I'm breastfeeding, and it's super sore. And then if I can't get it out, then I'm using geranium, and I'm using straight coconut oil. And then, you know, they're even asking like, what if I'm blocked? And I was like, oh, try fennel, you know, try fennel. And, you know, what about all this, the hips, your hips that are expanding in and out and contracting? I was like, try Deep Blue. It's amazing. It's the best stuff ever. And then even just the smell of the orange, right, in the diffuser, like you're in and out of that like depression and exhaustion when you're coming out of pregnancy and birth. And so just the smell of the orange in the morning kept me so much happier. And it's amazing how much the hormones are so weak at that moment. Like that, I feel the smells of the oils during the time of recovery of birth was so strong compared to now. Now I smell it and everything seems so doable. It seems so easy to just put a drop straight on and not have any sensitivity. But at that time, the oils felt like 100% stronger, just because you're so sensitive, right? And your hormones are bulging and you're just so tired, and everything in your body is just so in and out. So I remember the sensation of the smells. And I remember particularly passion and elevation being the only things that would make me stop crying some days. I mean, honestly, I remember just being like home, just covered in milk and just exhausted. And there's just 3 kids, like accidents everywhere, covered in milk, like everything's dirty, husband's working, I'm so hungry, but I'd have to cook something and get up and do it. And then just to make that walk, your hips are sore and there's just like blood dripping out of you for 6 weeks, right? That is the reality of birthing and recovery. And the only thing that made me want to get out of bed was the fact that there was a diffuser that I had next to my bed, and I just poured out some water from what I was drinking and put in some passion. And then I literally was like elevation, like straight dab on the nose, like that kind of, right? That like necessary addiction type of high that I needed to get out of bed. That was what got me out of bed a few days. And I said, what is in this shit? Like, why is this so good? Why is this stuff making me get out of bed and making me feel better? And I had had 3 births, and that birth was the only one that I recovered so fast and felt so happy. Like, I couldn't understand what was the difference. And it's because I was getting something literally put into my brain that I hadn't had in the other recoveries. And so I started doing way more research. And in that research, it really made sense how much chemically we are able to change our brain chemistry and enhance our mood and our body just by putting the right chemicals together in a natural way that your body can obtain. Okay, so that made sense to me. And knowing how difficult it is to have kids and knowing how painful birth is and how to recover and that stress and just knowing that dynamic that moms are put through, that made me really just want to share that. I was like, God, I wish I had known about this the first time. And I wish that more moms like knew how to do this so that they weren't just struggling so much. It's awful, you know? And I wish that guys just would give their women more money to spend on this kind of stuff because they need it. And so that's where I was like, all right, this is worth it. And by the time I was 3 months out of birth that year, I was already elite because I think I had just gotten so passionate about it and it became such a regular part of my life. And at that time, Ashley had just started doing the elite program with Noelle. So Noelle had, this is before there was a certification from doTERRA. This is like ancient. Noelle had paid for a program that another Diamond had made. And the Diamond Group had made something called Elite, and it was a program trying to teach people that were starting doTERRA how to really make the max, yes, old school stuff. Oh, pre-elite, sorry, yes, how to make the maximum effort of their time. A lot of it was time management, and a lot of it was mindset, and being very clear with the target of your actions. Like, how is this action going to actually help me? Is this wasting time? Is it wasting my energy? Causing me more stress? Does this even need to be a part of my life? So it taught you how to prioritize, which I'd actually been really good at for a long time. But what I was not expecting is all the emotional mindset work that the doTERRA business, yes, affirmations, that the doTERRA business had to bring in to your life. And I think that's what really changed the game, is that I am a business major. I have a BS, BA, and I have a minor in theater and a minor in writing. So I studied corporate communications. It's a split corporate communications business degree. I've worked in management, and I've always had a lot of entrepreneurial ventures, and I always did a lot of web work, and I helped with branding and sales. I did a lot of modeling and a lot of commercials, and I acted in small roles in speaking films. And so I have a lot of experience in how to sell and business and how to, time management and management skills and financial skills, bookkeeping. I knew all of that. But what I really didn't know that I was stuck in was emotional. I was really stuck in emotions that I had not really been able to see or address or even had the tools to deal with until I was with a team of women that were all dealing with it too. And a team of women where it was safe to do that really were not judgmental, and they all were experiencing the same kind of lifestyle and the same needs. And that's really where the team kind of did it for me. And that's really where things changed, was being able to, yes, look at your schedule and your priorities and be like, what is more important? Is it more important that I you know, do my laundry right now. Yes, there's tons of laundry, but is that more important right now? Is that going to make me stop crying? Is that going to make my body feel better? Is that going to make me in any way be able to take care of my kids or sleep through the night without crying? Or is it better for me to take a bath right now with some elevation dropped in and just say fuck the laundry for the next hour, you know? And that actually might get me more energy um, and more of a relief that I can actually deal with the kids and sleep better tonight later. And so those are the kind of priorities that the doTERRA type of programs for training and business, the business push really kind of put into your way. And so that is really where things started changing. And that's still what's changing now. That's still the shift now, you know, that's what the shift is, I think, on every single level. But I think the movement out of elite is like passion. When you finally have a passion for the product, that's what gets you to elite. Because elite, you don't really have to strategize time. You don't really have to strategize your people or really take time to educate anyone else in how to do what you're doing. Elite is more like, I love this, try this, let me help you learn how to use it. Here, get your pack and yay, keep buying. That's what elite is, right? But anything after elite has to do with, how do I help someone else sell like me? Then you have to think, okay, who is comfortable like me with their lifestyle? So then you have to get close to people and you have to start bonding on like best friend level, right? And then it's, I see that this person really wants to do it, but they don't have as much money as I do because they're not at the rank where I am, or they don't have the support system that I'm at, or they don't have, you know, any idea how to manage their time, or they don't have bookkeeping skill sets, or they don't have a Zoom room, or they don't know how to use Instagram, or they have never spoke in public before. So they're terrified of that. And they just, every time they open their mouth, they blubber. That is where you have to really be able to say, how can I help this person? Instead of pass them over. Instead of pass them over and be like, oh, they'll just keep buying. That's fine. I'll find the next one. It'll be the next one. You really have to look at, wow, this person really wants to do this. They have the passion like I did, but they just are lacking in some tools that I can help. So that is where you have to really start becoming a little less, a little less fearful. B, you have to be really open-minded and be like, what can I do to help this other person so they can help me? And that's where you have to really see everyone as a team member and not think of yourself as above them. And you really have to think of them as capable. Just they might need training, right? Just like your children, right? If you are looking at your kids like they're such a burden, because they will continue to be a burden. But the moment that you're like, maybe I can do their own shoes, and maybe I teach them how to wash their own dish. Maybe I'll make it even simpler, and I will just buy paper plates for a while so that we don't have to do dishes, so that no one's stressed out. So then I don't have to do the work and they can throw it away because that's where they're at. Okay, so same kind of thinking is what happens when you start shifting out of elite. It's I want them to use my fancy plates, and I want them to be able to wash it and clean it and not break it, and they keep not doing it right. What's wrong with them? No, that has to change. You have to be like, they can't handle my fancy porcelain plates. It's too much for them right now. That doesn't mean they're stupid. It just means that it's too much for them right now. They're going to get it a couple years from now. 2 more years, yes, my daughter can totally wash fancy porcelain and put it away and it won't break, no problem. But right now, all they can handle is plastic. So we're just going to give them plastic. We're going to say, fuck my porcelain and my high-end living or whatever I want. I'm learning this. If I really want this person to be on my team and I really want this person to grow with me and I need this person to help me, then I'm going to have to go where they are and I'm going to have to work with what they're capable of. And I'm going to have to help them learn at that level until they're able to handle my porcelain plates. Okay, so we're going to go to plastic, and if plastic's too much, we're going to go to paper. Yeah. And then once they've gotten the paper plates down, then we can move to plastic plates. Once they figure out how to wash their own stuff and put it away without me, well, then maybe we can move on to ceramic. And then once they've gotten ceramic down, we can go porcelain, right? But you have to be okay with going at a slower pace with other people. And that's where silver is really hard, I think, is silver. It's not just you recognizing what the other person needs. It's you being able to be patient and work with them. And that's where you have to really choose, do I want this person or not? And I think that's all the difference. I think that where people get stuck is that they're not able to commit to team members and to really commit to that family that they're making. You know, you're pretty much, when you have a business with someone, it is a contract. Like it is somewhat of a marriage, right? And it's somewhat of like a way that you're building your own family. And so if you make the wrong choices in who you commit to, you know, or maybe they're committing to you and they don't really mean it, right? That's really, I think, the biggest decisions that make or break you in business. And that's what doTERRA really teaches you, is that your relationships really are everything. So who you choose to be in your team, or who do you be partners with, or who you choose to invest your time and train and take that amount of ambition with, is really important. And you either are going to find that you really believe in people and that they don't believe in themselves and they just won't move forward and you can't push them, or opposite. I see this a lot with my teammates. They keep like seeing potential in people and they'll invest a little bit, but they won't give their all. They won't completely commit to that person. And so then they expect them, hey, I gave you some training. Hey, I told you what to do. Okay, well, I'll meet you at plastic. I'm not going to go to paper. You need to get up to plastic. And they won't give all the way. So this is the problem that I see with a lot of people. And this is what I struggled with too, was where I was either, in my case, I overgive. That's what I was doing. I was overgiving and I was investing everything. I was being mommy. I was giving so much mommy to my team and you know, doing it all for them to the point where, and Ashley does this a lot too, Ash Kemma. So this is where we both were like, oh, but I'm going to do it for you. I'm going to set up your account. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to like give you like this kind of help where I'm going to physically go into your account, set it up for you so you don't have to do it and it'll be easy. And what it did for us is that it made us so overwhelmed, where we were momming all these people to the point that we couldn't anymore. And we just got so overwhelmed and stressed out. And that's where she had to step back and say, I need you guys to do this on your own. And if you don't want it, you don't need to be in it. That's okay. And that was really hard for her. She had to be able to stop holding on to people that didn't really want to commit. And then my case was opposite. It wasn't that I didn't have people that wanted to commit. I had a lot of people that wanted to commit, but they just did not have the ready factor. They were just not, they were so blocked by so many things. They really wanted to commit. And so I had to really just say, okay, you know what, this might not be for you right now. Or I had to just say, I'm going to have to be patient. It's just going to take a long time and I'm just going to accept that. And so that was also why it took me so long to get to gold, is because a lot of the people I had on my team, they really did want this. They really were committed. They just truly had the wounds, or they had blocks that were so much bigger than normal and so much farther behind that it really just, it was so much patience and it was just going to take a lot longer for the whole team to rise up. And that is where gold took a really long time. And it still is really hard and a struggle, because I still have a lot of members who truly are blocked, or they don't have the same support in their own lines. They are still looking for the right people. They still haven't found that commitment.
Thank you. That was amazing. How many nuggets did you guys get just then? Okay, so let's talk about silver real quick, Naoms. Silver. What made you want to be silver? What did it take to accomplish it?
It took a lot of opening up. You really have to talk and say to people, guys, I really want this. I really need help right now. Do you have anybody that wants to order? You know, you have to really be able to say to the world, guys, I believe in this product. Even if you're going to laugh at me and tell me that it's a stupid triangle pyramid thing, that is really the difference of when the silver happens. Is I had to really say, I really believe in this product. I really believe in my lifestyle. I really believe in the way I'm doing things. I really think we figured something out here. And you know what? It used to bother me before if my mom questioned me, or if my husband was like, oh my God, you cannot spend $70 on a bottle of frankincense. We don't need this. I got to the point where I was like, I don't care. too bad. You just bought a surfboard. I'm gonna spend, $500 on my whatever. Yeah, too bad, and I got to that point where I was like, I believe in this. You want your surfboard? I want my oils. um, and it gets to the point where I think I just stopped caring what people thought. I stopped caring if people on Instagram were like, that doesn't work, you can't claim that. And I would just respond, I'm not claiming anything. I'm telling you what happened with me. If you don't want to stick vaginas in your oil, or oils in your vagina, that's fine. You don't have to, but I did. Like, you don't need to do it too. But if you want to, I did it, and I'll tell you what it felt like. Okay. Like, I got to the point where I just didn't care. And I would get to the point where I would tell my doctor, no, I don't think that that is okay right now. I feel it's better that I do it this way. Let me try it my way first. And then if it doesn't work, I'll come back for antibiotics. So that's kind of where that shift happened, where I just started being really confident in what I was doing. And I started opening up to, my doctors, my dentist, my family, my friends. And then it was, I made a website because I was like, okay, I can't keep wasting my time explaining myself to everyone. So instead, I'm just going to write some things that are really pretty basic in a website that way it saves me time. And then anyone who knows me and really wants to know, they can go there and they can talk. And I also just felt like money-wise, that's a big factor and a big push for everyone. But naturally, when you start to spend money on this product too, obviously it's very expensive, right? So then you start saying, how can I justify this, $300 I'm spending every month? Because that's starting to be your entire elite paycheck is pretty much going back, right? So then you get to this point where you're like, okay, this is going to take more time. And this is obviously going to be a part of my life. And this is obviously going to be something I do for the long run. This is not something that's just going to be like a part-time passion thing that every once in a while I buy from. This is pretty much a lifestyle. This is a business. This is something like, I'm going to have for a long time. So how do I make this, worth it? And how do I make it where I can afford to be spending not just the amount of money that I was, but the amount of time and the amount of effort that I was. Plus, you're reading so much educationally that you're spending a lot of money on other things as well. And then I'm making gifts for all my teachers, right? And all my kids, whatever. And I'm like experimenting. And so it got to the point where, financially, I was like, I really have to be able to cover my ass. I cannot just keep doing this. And then, and then there's that freedom that happened in my marriage. There's a huge shift that happened. I'd been mommy for so long, and, husband got so used to it that he got really dominating. He was so used to me being home and doing everything and not having an outside job and not working outside of the home and not having a life really, especially because I'd been 6 years breastfeeding straight and like stuck with babies. That we had a lot of tension in our marriage, and I was like, I have to get out of this. Like, not that I'm done with him, not that I don't want to be married. I just said I have to get out of this lifestyle that had happened on its own, right? It wasn't necessarily like we chose that, but when you have 3 kids in a row and we didn't plan it, we didn't have tools set up already, we had kind of done what was survival. And then it hit a point where I couldn't do it anymore. I was just so stressed out, and I really needed my independence back, and I needed my freedom back, and I needed to not be mommy anymore. I needed to have other roles besides just mommy. And that is where the only thing you can really do when you have 3 kids that are under 5 at one time is you have to be able to work from home. You have to be able to do something that is flexible, that can still bring you in enough income to be either saving it or be paying for a substantial amount of things to get you out of that rat race, right? And $300 was not doing it. And neither was 5 or 6 with gosh, what's the next one? Premier. And then even 1,000 was like just hitting it. 1,000, I was like, okay, it's paying off everything I need. It was helping to pay for my babysitter. I was actually able to get a babysitter for a while because that way I could get myself a little break. I could work a little bit in that time. I could go get, like a massage or go do yoga, or at least just sleep for a couple hours during that time and rejuvenate. right? And that was starting to save me. That was starting to get me to the point where I could feel normal again. And I didn't feel so depleted and I didn't feel so exhausted. And, you know, it's not that my husband wasn't working, he was working so much, but everyone in home, we had a business that had just grown tremendously, and we had 3 kids without having any like previous resources saved up, and we didn't own a home, so we were renting. And that all just accumulated, and it just hit a breaking point. And so reaching silver was really important because financially it had to be able to give me just enough freedom to basically survive and not collapse, right? And then eventually what happened from that is my marriage collapsed, and that became one of the only ways that financially I could get out of it. It was one of the only ways that I was able to pretty much escape a situation that had just gone haywire. And it was the only other supplemental income that I knew was going to come in no matter what. And yes, you still have to work at it. Yes, you still have to talk, network, and you still need to make connections, and you still need to post and, you know, somehow train and teach and somehow keep buying. But once you've hit silver, even if you are not hitting it again all the time, you've had so much put into your legs, and you've had already the structure set up to have downline commission, that you're going to have a few hundred at the very least show up. So even if I made not one email, and even if I had not one class, and even if I had no new builders, by the time that I hit silver, this whole last year, I've barely been able to really do anything. And I still am having at least like $600, $700, $800 show up, just doing nothing on those months. The months that I've done absolutely nothing and I barely even posted because I'm just so consumed, that amount of money still shows up at the very least, you know? And so just knowing that you have enough to cover your daycare, right? That pays for my preschool, or just so that I can work, so that I can right virtual school, or I can, you know, try to do something else, like, or that's what it's gonna take for, you know, maybe for you to pay off like a car, or whatever it is that you're struggling with. Just that little amount that you know is going to be consistent, that you already built up and you already worked hard to come in as a baseline. That was so necessary. That was extremely extremely securing. And you know, I don't have the rank that I need to be for me to just survive on it right now alone, but it definitely has pulled in, you know, anywhere from like 1 to 3 grand, just is like what the average of silver kind of goes through, right? Depending on like what your month is like, and depending on if you have people in our or not. And that's if you're not enrolling anyone new. Like that is the baseline. That's a really amazing income to just have as a woman, as a mom, right? And I think that's what's really been inspiring to a lot of people to come into this business, is that they know that they can have something that is there that can at least cover basic diapers, food, car payments. You know, maybe that's somebody's room. Maybe that's how much it costs for you to rent a room from, I don't know, a family member or something. But that is just a really special kind of business that gives a lot of women freedom. And it's not requiring you to be sexy or to have a degree, right? It's just requiring you to be really honest about your life, and to be healthy, and to really care about other people, and to really care about yourself, right?
Thank you. That was so good. I was going to ask you what silver has done for you, but I think you kind of covered it. Does anyone, we have like 9 minutes, does anyone have any questions for Naomi? Otherwise, I'll let you share any last tips that you have, or reasons why these leaders want to be silver.
Okay. For me, friendships are so important. I've never been one to care about what people drive or what they do. I have friends from all walks of life. There's times that I really had nothing. I was disowned earlier in my life. I left at 16. I had a really interesting early adulthood, and I went to 3 different schools. One was a very high-end prep school, and 2 of them were public schools. One here, one in Oahu. I went to 2 different colleges. Um, I've lived with like 5 boyfriends before my husband. So I think what I can tell you is that it's really rare to find good people that are very responsible, that are honest, and that truly are capable of morals and sticking to morals. And that is by far the most precious thing you can ever find in life, okay, is what I've found. And, you know, I came from a lot of money. My dad was an architect. We took trips to Europe. You know, I had Gucci purses in high school before I got kicked out. Like, I have had luxury, especially in modeling, dote on you. Nothing matters. Everyone will fail you. You know, my marriage of 9 years, you know, everything can fail you. Everything can, you know, be gone in an instant. And the thing that will not leave are real, true friends. No matter if you look like shit or not, no matter if you've, you know, cheated or you've lied or whatever, if they're really real, true friends, they're still going to love you and they're still going to want the best for you. And I think that that is something so incredibly rare to find. And so if you can find a group of people that have the same values and have the same commitment to morals and have the same, you know, unconditional kind of love for each other and their own families, it is worth working for. It is worth sticking in it, even if you're really not maybe into the business much. I think what silver really does is it forces you to make kind of connections, and it really forces you to get close to like a network of women that are not going to betray you.
Thank you. That was amazing. I know everyone really appreciated you putting yourself out there. I appreciate you. Thank you for saying yes to me. I will save this. Let me just turn this off.